Hi, my name is Michele Landers, and welcome to Divinely Inspired by the Numbers, where we explore the fascinating world of numbers and numerology. And I'm very happy to be with you today. And as usual, I'm so happy to be part of the Enlightened World Network. Now, Enlightened World Network is a place where you can find some peace and calm and emotional and spiritual support and like I always say, who doesn't need that these days? And I'm really happy, excited to report that EWN is expanding to include even more informative shows and meditation and online workshops to help us all navigate not only through these challenging times, but, to also empower you to live your best life. So please continue to check out EWN and all it has to offer. As usual, what I would like to do is let's begin by just getting settled in a little bit. And I like to do that because when we go inward, as most of you know, we're more open to receive whatever information we're meant to receive. So just get comfortable. Close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. And do that with a deep ah. So in through your nose, out through your mouth, ah. And let's just do that 2 more times. In through your nose, ah. And 1 more time. Ah. And kind of shake your shoulders, and for me, loosen my neck a little bit. And now you can open up your eyes and we'll get started. So before I bring on my guest, I want to talk a little bit about my upcoming free masterclass. That's this Saturday, May 16th from 10 to 11 Eastern time, right here on the Enlightened World Network. And the name of this free masterclass is Understanding Your Numbers, Exploring Your Gifts, Passions, and Life Path. Now, in this class, I'm going to be talking about your soul's divine contract. I think that's so fascinating, and we all do have a contract with the divine. And how does that show up in your numerological life path? And wouldn't you want to know that? Doesn't that sound interesting? I think most of us want to know, why am I here? What's my purpose? I know for a long time, that was my big question. And even though you might be pretty certain you know, maybe you're still just a little bit curious about what the numbers say. Or maybe you would like some validation. But we'll also talk about your karmic debts and your karmic lessons. So what's the difference? And do you have any? So if you don't already know how to properly calculate your life path, because there is a specific way to do it so you don't miss any either karmic debts, karmic lessons, karmic debts, and you don't want to miss any master numbers. Well, in this class, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I do hope that you'll join me and find out more about who you are. Now, you can pre-register, and I believe we're going to post the link for the class in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure you can just go to Enlightened World Network and search it out. And again, the name of that class is Understanding Your Numbers, Exploring Your Gifts, Passions, and Life Path. So I find that people are just amazed at what their life path reveals to them, the contract that we made with the divine before we came here. And so that would imply there's such thing as reincarnation. And we're going to talk about that. So now what I would like to do is bring on my next very special guest, Ivana. And Ivana, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Ivana,
Hello.
this is the first time that Ivana and I have actually met, well, in person, I guess you could call it that, right? And she has graciously agreed to allow me to look at her numbers. And what I have found, and I keep repeating this because, like attracts like. And within the Enlightened World family, Enlightened World Network family, I've been doing a lot of readings for different people who have come on. And it seems that most everyone has, well, I won't say most everyone has a strong spiritual pull. And I found that with you, Ivana, as well.
Okay.
And you are a high energy person. That's one of the things that I found from looking at your name. So I take apart your name and your birth path. So I'm going to talk a little bit about who you are and what I found, and you can tell me how that feels for you.
Okay.
So, okay, you have an innate intuition about things. And if you follow that, and that's true just for about anybody who has that, who's conscious of that intuition, it will lead you to a lot of success in everything that you do if you follow it. I think more often than not, probably as you got older, you started following it more. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. You have a high set of values. And you think in terms, I believe, of having a mission in life. And for you, that involves other people. You have a very, very big heart. And I picked this up and I just threw it in because I wasn't quite sure if this was in fact if it would ring true for you. But it also seems to always have to do with partners. And not sure if you've been involved with partnerships and whether that went well or not, but trying or doing things with partners. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the I of your first name tells me that you kind of lead with a big heart. You're compassionate, you're caring. I think you probably always care about the underdog. Do you have that feeling like you want to uplift? You want to help in any way that you can. And that's part of your mission and your life path. And that's something that obviously you're following, and that's what you're supposed to do. Now, in your name, because it's Ivana, and then your last name also has a V, you have two V's. Now, this is another interesting piece of your puzzle. V's are very highly spiritual letters. Now, there's two ways that a V can go, though, because as I usually talk about, to whom much is given, much is demanded. So the V's on the material plane, it will give somebody a lot of determination, a lot of ambition. They have a vision about how things should be done. They're strong minded. As I said, a lot of determination, great business instincts. Do you feel like you have really good business instincts?
I do, but it doesn't seem to work out for me for some reason. I don't know why.
Is that something to do with partners?
Well, that too. Yeah, successful, not having a partner that is actually compatible, thinking of on the same level as I do, or it could be other things that come into play. Yeah, not finding someone that's on the same, pretty much on the same maybe spiritual level as I am,
Right.
yeah, difficult.
Okay, so that's why the whole partner thing came up for me. I guess that's why it showed up, because You really, really, really do have ambition, determination, and I do believe without a doubt you have good instincts when it comes to business. I think you're good at handling money too.
Somewhat, yeah. Well, I'm the one that actually does that in the home. Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Um, so this is the other part of the V. If you're operating within the spiritual aspects of the V, you can reach really high states of spiritual realization. And I'm not sure if you've had that experience or you're still working on it, but you do have that ability. Does that make sense to you?
Hmm. Yeah. I don't think I quite reached that point, but working on that. Yes, I've been working a lot on that. Hmm.
Yeah, it just gives you a lot of impetus in that realm. And V's, when they say they're going to do something, they do it. There's kind of like no bullshit, excuse me, but no bullshit about that.
Right.
I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. You are not the type of person that ever has, to me, there's no like hidden agenda.
Right.
What you see is what you get.
Right. Authentic.
you're, yeah, you're very, yeah, no bullshit. You're a very upfront person. Um, Okay, and interesting, in the family name, the Z's in your name have the value of 8, which is also comprised of a 2 and a 6. So there's something in the family name also about partnerships. But home and family is extremely important, I think, to you and to your family. There's a very strong connection there.
Yes.
So again, just talking about the V's in your name. Okay, another thing is, I think you like to be in charge of things, or is it charge, or is it control, or is it both?
Um, I'm maybe in charge, more control. I'm not like the control type, but I mean, if it's something personal that I need to do for me, I'm always the one that's in control. But if it has something to do with someone else, if someone else comes up with an idea, of course, I let them do what they have to. Um, no, not so much.
Okay, so you're good at being in charge, and you like being in charge. I think you have a really sharp mind. You have a good ability to manage things, to organize events. I believe that financial security is very important to you,
Yes.
and you can size up situations pretty quickly. You're
Hmm.
good at analyzing things, like your sister, very sharp mind. Um, the caution here is that you have to be careful of getting so caught up in things that you really tax yourself,
Right.
whether that's through work or a cause or whatever you're involved with. You have to be really conscious of, overdoing it, or just taxing yourself. And that could be physically, mentally, emotionally. Um, I'm sorry, I don't know what I have in my throat this morning, but
Allergies.
yeah, right. Excuse me. I think they uh, they dissipate around 12:30. I don't know, and right now it's 10:30, so we have 2 hours. Excuse me. All right, commitment to relationships. Boy, oh boy, when you say you're going to, as I said, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. You are very committed to relationships, especially home and marriage, because that is, family is a central issue in your life, and you're a very devoted parent, very devoted. And I think you prefer to be in partnerships. And even though you like variety in things, you prefer to be in a partnership. You're artistic, you're creative. And I have found that down the line with most of the people now that I've been reading. You guys, you just have all this creative ability and artistic ability that needs to be expressed. That's why one of the reasons you're here. So you love to learn things, you love to study, you really value the gifts of the mind. And you like to study things in depth because, besides the fact that you're an upfront person, again, no bullshit, you also like to search things, like you like to go beneath the surface of things. You're not a surface person, and you
Right.
just kind of abhor shallow judgment or opinions. You have a natural gift for analysis, for research. Um, you could have been a detective. I think you like figuring out.
Mm, yeah, I do. I do.
That was the other thing that kind of popped up. I was thinking, wow, I know it feels like she's really pursuing this spiritual path, but she could have been a great detective too. Um, Another area that would be good for you, by the way, would be real estate. And I don't know if you ever thought about that.
No, no. I
Yeah.
mean, I like I like the idea of seeing new homes. I mean, I've never really gone that route. No.
Well, you're good at making deals. You're a good deal maker. um, and that not just real estate. You're just overall a good deal maker, and you have a lot of strong opinions, but you also have strong principles, ideas, beliefs, and you're not. I mean, you will listen to other people, but you're not easily swayed from your strong beliefs.
Mhm.
You listen, but you feel, for the most part, I think you feel pretty confident. Well, it's a certain area of your life. I got to get into a little bit more. And I also think you're a little bit of a perfectionist about things too. You have an eye for things and you like it to be a certain way. You
Yeah.
see how that looks and you like it to be a certain way. Um, Being respected is very important to you. And again, you're just a really, really good researcher. And people, I think, see you're very approachable, but people see you as independent and self-sufficient. And I don't think you really like to be, like out of control emotionally. You like to have, for lack of a better word, control over your emotions. You don't want to just flip out or anything like that. You like to look, even though, and it's funny because your first letter is I, and eyes, which is the value of 9, can be very, very dramatic, but along with and intense and emotional and sensitive. But you have those other letters that kind of pull the reins in on you and go, okay, I know that you're feeling deeply about this, but let's think about that a little bit. So I think that's kind of the mental stuff that goes on in your head. So I talked about, yeah, that you have this very creative side, and I think that you have to be busy. Your life path is all about trying new things, exploring. You can get bored really easily, so you really need to have something going on. Um, Traveling, I think you really would like to travel, or you do travel.
No, I would like to.
Yeah, yeah. And in a 5, you have a 5 life path. That people with a 5 life path, it's really interesting. They often experience a lot of changes in their life,
Mhm.
different things, ups and downs.
Yes.
But it's probably one of the most interesting experientially, as far as that goes, because for whatever reason, you have this opportunity to be exposed to a lot of different things, a variety of things. Because for you, you have to do that. You have to have something that keeps you occupied mentally. Um, and you have this you have this curiosity that drives you. You want to know things, and you have such a sharp mind that if you don't fill it, it's like, idle hands are the devil's workshop. Not that I think that you could get into trouble, but you just need to have that kind of stimulation in your life, which is really good. So, what's very curious about this year, because another piece of the 5 life path, the challenges in a 5 life path to be able to let go of things,
Mhm.
because even though the 5 life path really embraces different uh, studies, different cultures. They like travel. And it's all about different things and learning different things and going from this to that. However, a 5 life path will often find it difficult to let go of certain things in their life. And that's their challenge.
Right.
So the 5 gift is lots of changes and experiences, which are wonderful. And the challenge is to be able to let go. So when you can embrace that, life gets a lot easier for a 5. I have a girlfriend whose life path is a 5, and God, and like I say about myself, she has the same characteristic. Anything that we let go of has claw marks on it. So
No, I don't do that.
yeah,
You know
um,
what? It goes with love and light, always. Always in love and light. I let.
well, that's wonderful, because you're doing exactly what your 5 is asking of you. Because, as I said, the 5 life path is about change, experiences, but it also asks you to be able to let go of things. That's the challenge. So this year, you're in the a very well. Let me ask you this question first. Do you know anything about numerology?
Not so much. Not as much as I would like to know. No.
Okay. Well, it's obviously, I'm going to say, it's based on number interpretation,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess you would say that you're not really sure about what each number means.
Well, some of them I do know because I work with them, sometimes daily, so I kind of like learn, but not as intense as I would like to know. I know maybe the superficial meaning of it, but nothing deep.
Okay.
Working with the numbers deep would be something that would be, I would be interested in, but I don't know that. No.
Okay. Because I want to talk about your year, your personal year, and that's 2020. Now, let me check your birthday again. Your your birthday is in June. So let
Yes.
me just explain something in numerology, at least the way I do it, which is a little bit more in depth. Your personal year runs from January to December, but then you have 2 major transits that influence that 7 year, because your birthday is in the middle of the year. So there's a transit that runs from um, June to June, and then and that crosses over and will contribute to the interpretation of your 7 year. That's why, when I do a chart, besides this, there's also letter transits that influence your year. That's why I could say you have a 7 year and somebody else has a 7 year, but everybody's 7 year, although there'll be some aspects that will be similar, but there are a lot of aspects that are just uh, part of your personal year. Okay, because especially because your birthday is in the middle of the year. So with all that said, the 7 year is extraordinarily intuitive and extraordinarily spiritual. And it definitely, even psychic, and it pulls you inward. It pulls you inward. So, and that's going to show up in a couple of ways. It could be that you physically find you're spending more time alone, or and if that isn't the case, and that could be the case, and in addition, it could be spending more time just in really, really deep thought and examining the really important issues in your life, and also making a decision to either change something, bring something forward, or do something different. But it's an important decision making year. The other part of it as well is people that you haven't seen for a while will either reconnect with you, um, somehow make contact with you. You might run into somebody you haven't seen in a while. And that could be in person, more likely, maybe on Facebook or whatever. But somehow people that you haven't seen in a while. Now, it could also be a a strong spiritual connection to your sister, since it's such a spiritual year. And I don't know, have you connected with her at
Uh,
all?
the only connection I have is I actually can sense her physically. And in the beginning, when she passed, I had an encounter with her in a dream. It was kind of like a lucid state where actually she came to me after I did something for her. But when I need her to be present, I can feel her presence just by her being close,
Uh,
touching. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily her, but the touching of the hair, the touching of, or the feeling of energy, goosebumps, chills, and that's pretty much the only thing that happens.
well, that's kind of that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
This might be the year that have you seen a medium at all? Has anybody brought her through?
Not this year, and it's funny that you say that because I just signed up for something like 10 minutes before I came on with you, to do like a Zoom with two mediums that I personally know. So I wanted to listen in, so I signed up for a Zoom with that. But
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because yeah, that's what I was thinking about, and that's something that I thought would be uh, very likely, very probable in this year, that you'd make more of a connection with her somehow. Um, so that's a really important of the year as well. It's a really deeply spiritual year. You're going to probably be learning more and more spiritual, be study more, get involved with more spiritual studies,
mhm.
learning new things. Really, it's an accelerated path this year for you as far as learning about spiritual studies. Um, so there's not issues. Okay, I don't want to use the word issues. That's not the right word. There's a lot about family, and also I want you. Do you exercise? Do you really take care of your health? Because I want you to take better care of your health. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see anything at all, and no illness or anything. Just what came up was, hey, this is a really good time to do something health wise to also accelerate your health.
Right.
The other thing is, after your birthday or somewhere around your birthday, there's a lot of young energy around you. Now, that could be your children, that could be somehow more involvement or taking a different path with them, but there's definitely young energy and an emphasis on your kids. Um, Not only that, but because the energy, I have to interpret what this energy is going to look like. So I know it's young energy. I know that it's likely more emphasis on your kids and either doing things with them or involving them in some other program or something to do with them. It's also a young energy, young at heart, or young as in bringing out more creativity and paying more attention to your creative, expressive young side, bringing that out. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything or planning on doing anything like that, or?
Well, spending more time with them, doing things that, as a family,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's the year of the opportunity of being able to be, because we have to be at home, finding things to do with them, creative things just to keep them busy. And and it brings me back to my childhood, doing things
Okay.
that I used to do when I was young, and doing that, incorporating that with them. So because there are a lot of things that I used to do as a child, which I see that they're starting to like, and they're asking me, Mom, do you want to go, let's say, for example, fishing? Because I used to do a lot of fishing as a kid. I don't know. So like,
Wow.
can we go fishing? I said, yeah, let me. And so it kind of brings up all of the feelings of being, growing up, being able to fish, being able to, do things that I used to do as a kid, and doing it with them. So yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's what that is about. Okay, because um, yeah, and around your birthday, there seems to be even more. Now, another thing in a 7 year, but I don't know if that's definitely going to take place or it's something that you want. It's taking a long distance trip or travel someplace. Now,
Mm.
I'm not sure. I know right now, for me to say that is like, what? Really? Nobody's going anyplace. But who knows by the end of the year? But did you have that in your mind to
Well,
possibly take?
I would have liked to go to Italy, but I don't know if that's the greatest place to go.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe towards the end of the year. I'm not sure, but it definitely can involve travel. And I hesitated to say that because I said, "Gee, nobody's really traveling." But who knows? It could be towards the end of the year. It seems like a um, either a long distance travel, travel over water or to water, um, and also it could be a very spiritually an out of the way place, a spiritually enlightening travel. So as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing that could also be, it could be local and it could be something that expands your spirituality. Maybe you go on a retreat,
Mhm.
but there's something to do with travel, and it's
Right.
travel of the mind as well as travel of the body.
I'll share it with you. There's a place
Okay.
that I would like to go to, and it's actually a spiritual place. It's been calling to me for the longest time. It's in France, and it's called Mont Saint Miguel, which is the Mount Saint Michael, and it's in Normandy, France. And it's like a town built on a hill, and supposedly Saint Michael appeared there. So there's a big statue of Saint Michael on the top, and it's kind of built around, there's a moat, so the water rises up. The only time you can get there is when it's low tide, but I am so drawn to that place, and it's beautiful. You'll have to look up Mont Saint Miguel, Mount Saint Michael, and it's just something that it keeps coming to me, keeps coming to me, but of course I can't
Wow.
seem to get to it. So
Wow. I have heard of that when you mentioned it. I have heard of it many, many years ago, and I never followed up, but I found it to be really intriguing and someplace that I thought, wow, that's got to be fascinating.
yeah, the energy, probably to me, I'm drawn to the energy of going, and I mean, I've seen pictures, so it looks pretty beautiful. You can actually stay on this island, people live on it, but on the top of it is a beautiful statue. And I would assume there's like a monastery or whatever, I don't know, monastery or a place for spirituality, but there's like a connection, and I don't know what the connection is. I have to find that out.
Right. Well, I think the fact that this has got to be some confirmation here, because as I said, the travel is either an out of the way place or something that's spiritual and that connects to you. So that's something I think that you need to have on your agenda to do.
Yes.
It's got to be pulling towards you for a reason, an absolute reason. And I think that, yeah, I believe in reincarnation. I believe we come back over and over again. I believe you and your sister were together, as most of us are within family, but you had a very close connection with your sister in a previous life. Why she chose to exit when she did is, um, for me, a mystery. I'm not quite sure. And only that, something emotional new beginning showed up on her chart, but that doesn't really give me, you know, a, a complete answer why. And I don't know if maybe a medium could, but I
Mhm.
do believe that we all choose our exit points and why. Did
Right.
she have children?
No,
Okay.
no.
Hmm.
She did want children, but she
It,
couldn't.
it just, yeah, okay. Um, but the odds are that in all likelihood she's going to reappear in the family somehow. It's not uncommon that when a person passes, a few years later, all of a sudden somebody's pregnant.
Mm.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
In fact, the I will share this story because it was so fascinating to me. My father passed away in 2002, and my daughter had been trying to get pregnant for, a while, and nothing was happening. In 2003, my father came to me and I said, "Yeah, you haven't, you died in August. I haven't, talked to you, I haven't seen you, And he said, "Oh, well, I'm busy. There are things to do." And he said, "But don't worry, I'll be back in December." And I thought it was a dream, but as I was regaining consciousness or becoming awake, I heard Alicia's going to get pregnant in March. And so I wrestled with whether or not to tell her that because I thought, why say that and then get her hopes up? But then I said, if I don't say it and it happens, and I say, I knew that, I knew that, So as it turned out, and the end of the story, I did tell her, and sure enough, she got pregnant in March.
Wow.
So yeah, and anyway, so I do know that they come back to us. Sometimes they come back sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
And so often somebody passes, and within a couple of years or even less, there's a birth, and it happens to be that soul. So the fact that you know that she's around you all the time is beautiful. And I have a feeling that she'll make a stronger connection with you this year.
Mhm.
Um, Again, just follow your instincts this year, as we all should, but I really would like you to go even deeper and deeper and deeper than you normally would. Um, and keep on uh, studying spiritual, whatever spiritual truths, whatever they are for you.
Mhm.
And teaching is good for you as well, So I think it'd be great for you to share a lot of your knowledge and your ability with others. And I really enjoyed doing your chart, as I've enjoyed everyone's, but I did really enjoy yours because I said, "Oh, this is a no bullshit person," Not that anybody else is, I have to be careful about what I say because I loved every chart that I've done.
Right.
Um, but I guess what it is you remind me, I'm from Jersey,
Mhm.
and you reminded me of a Jersey girl when I was looking at your
Oh,
chart and
you
everything.
know what's
Yeah.
funny? I actually spent my summers in Jersey.
Did you?
I grew, yeah, my summers. I'm from New York, but I spent the best years of my life as a child. My memories are all from Jersey. Yeah.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's unusual.
Yeah.
Very few people from New York or whatever say, "Oh, I really like Jersey."
Yeah. The things that I got to do, like the fishing and the swimming and just being outdoors and creative, those were my fondest memories.
What part of Jersey did you go to?
We were my father had we had a house in Atlantic Highlands.
Yes, love it there. Beautiful. Beautiful. I lived in East Jersey for a long time. My father had a business in Hackensack, and then we moved down to Piscataway. But yeah, so your year and the whole children aspect of your year, which is bringing, as you said, bringing memories of the past up, is a really, really comforting and nice feeling,
Yes.
to look at that, revisit your. But again, there's other stuff coming up that is going to involve your kids in a good way. Um, but I'm not sure what that is. We'll have to revisit that around your birthday and see what that looks like. So, do you have any questions?
The only question I may have is um, relationships, personal relationships, like, spousal relationships. I know you said that I'm very committed. I mean, is there anything else that you foresee, or is it just a year of family just being together?
So, okay, ask me that again in a different.
um, Relationships, personal relationships. Do you see anything in that changing, or is it the same?
Okay. What I Okay, let me look at the letters. Okay. A whole chart, by the way, is like, you know, if I wrote out your whole chart, it'd probably be 13 pages.
Yeah.
But what I want to look at is the letters that you're transiting. Okay, so the letters that you're transiting right now are emotionally a little bit up and down. Also, kind of not kind of, a search for, I don't know what, if it's more, if it's for love, it's for fulfillment. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of demands on you right now, by the way, as well. Um, so a lot of responsibility, but a lot of demands on you right now. But it is an opportunity for you too, to build something, whatever that is. Because I see that your essence is a master number, 22-4. And whenever I see a master number show up in anybody's chart, depending on where it falls, I know that there's greater demands on them. It's a sensitive period for you, but also people are going to be looking to you for guidance. It's an opportunity to serve the greater good, but it still is demands being made on you. It's really important. I'll go back to taking care of your health, because I know in the beginning of this, I just touched on, just a lot of the energy could be really taxing for you.
Right.
So make sure that you find a lot of balance and take care of things. So, okay. It is another period of partnerships. And I am not absolutely sure how there's an element in a 7-year always too, as long as and I'm going a little bit over, but is also an element of secretiveness in a 7-year. And that could be, keeping things to yourself that you'd rather not share, or holding the secrets of others, or other things going on that you're not immediately aware of, but there's that kind of energy. And I don't know does that make sense to you, or is that
Yeah.
like, whoa, what is she talking about? It's
No,
crazy talk, this
no,
lady.
no.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So it has really been fun
Thank you.
with you and spending time with you. And I would say that you are Italian. Is that not right?
Yes.
I'm Italian on both sides,
So
my both my parents, and so I understand that uh, energy, that family stuff that goes on, and keeping things together, and all the other stuff that goes on in Italian families, right?
yep.
My okay, so well, I think that is pretty much it,
Well, thank you.
and I do hope you enjoyed it.
Yes,
I
I
had a lot of fun with you. And that's it for today. And I really appreciate everybody for taking this very circuitous ride with us today and tuning in. And I hope to see you all this Saturday, May 16th from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network. And you can go there. There is a link that hopefully I will be able to post later so you can sign up for the class. And for the time being, have a blessed day and be safe and take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.